Okay, now that I've done that, I've adjusted the light a little bit also so you can see. This is what I do. Now, my eyebrows at this time are not arched properly. And that's because at some point I kind of liked them thin. I knew when I did it, it was not the proper way to arch them, but I was just tired of looking at my eyebrows the same way, and I knew that I could always go back and fill it in, so it didn't matter. So this is the proper way to fill in the eyebrow, according to the blog that I did yesterday. What I do first is I fill in the starting point, because your starting point, if you line this up on the side of your nose, should be right here on the other side of the pencil. And most people, you can see fine hairs that start growing there, so you know where it's supposed to be at. Then I kind of like underline a little bit. Fill that part in. And this pencil looks, I don't know if it looks that way on camera. It looks black, but it's not. It's black brown. Another thing I mentioned in the blog, I hate to see women with jet black eyebrows drawn on. It looks so unnatural and it's not cute. I've seen very few light-skinned girls get away with it when they have jet black hair and they use the powder to do their eyebrows, but especially for dark-skinned women, it just looks a mess. So anyway, so I fill that in, and then what I do is I go in and I do the end of the eyebrow. Now, let me explain this part. If you line your pencil up on the side of your nose and the outside of your pupil, if you look straight ahead, wherever that is, somewhere in there should be the peak of your arch. And if you line it up on the outside of your nose and lay the pencil here on the outside of your eye, wherever the pencil ends is where the end of your eyebrow should be. No further than that. Now, I don't sit here and line this up every day. I pretty much just wing it. But for the sake of instructions, because I told Takina I was going to do it. Okay, now I'll do the other eye. It's always harder for me to do this eye for some reason than this one. Now, another rule of thumb when doing your eyebrows don't have to be twins. They don't have to be perfect. They're sisters. They're supposed to look alike, but they don't have to look exactly alike, as long as they're even and you've done them close enough for the most part. Now, as I was explaining yesterday, the rule of thumb as far as arching, a lot of people don't fill in their eyebrows. Like Takina that I'm doing this video for, I don't know if you fill in your eyebrows. A lot of people don't. Basically, the rule of thumb as far as arching is going to be the same whether you're filling them in or using powder. Even though it's the same rule of thumb, I know you're probably thinking everybody doesn't want their eyebrows to look the same, because we have different faces. Like, my nose is huge, so where my arch ends is not going to be where your arch ends. Like, the measuring is different. Each face is different. It's designed that way to match up to your face. So the next thing that I'm going to do, because right now it does look really unnatural, you need one of those comb brush thingies. And this is the one out of my Sonia Kashuk collection. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the brush side of it, And most people comb all their hairs up to make sure they're going the same direction. My eyebrow hair is pretty much the same thing every day, so I don't have that issue. But I'm going to take the brush in, and I'm going to brush in towards the front of my Now this I picked up from Lil Pumpkin, I think that's her name, and her channel is Makeup Game on Point. And once I did it, I was like, hey, that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to do it a little further than just the front though. Do it a little further back. And I'm going to do the other one. Okay, that looks like a little bit of a unibrow, and it's supposed to be that way. In fact, I'm going to get a wipe to clean that up. The purpose for this is it fades out the front of your eyebrows, and it makes it look more natural. Instead of just having a harsh line, start right there. Naturally, your eyebrows start off light and go into the fade into the darker point. And when you're using powder or you're drawing them on, you kind of want the same thing. So I'm just going in to clean that up. It's not by a whole lot, even though I've already done my foundation. I didn't put a lot of foundation between my eyes, so it really didn't matter. Most people clean that part up with concealer, but this is where my process is a little different from everybody else's. Because I don't use concealer on my eyebrows, and I'll go through that in a minute. Now, if you can only fit one finger between your eyebrows and the eyebrows, which mine are, I don't know if you can see it, but your eyebrows are touching your finger with that one finger, then they are entirely too close. And that's another thing that I hate to see that I just will not speak on at this moment, but no matter how big or little your face is, like, that is not good. Okay. Now, since I brushed those all out of whack, comb them back into place on both sides. That's what this is for in my blog when I said that you needed one of these. That's the purpose of it. Okay. Now, this next step, most people use concealer for. I don't do, because I don't wear concealer. I don't have a use for it. I don't have a problem with dark circles, and the few dark circles I have, if any at all, can be covered up by makeup. It's not that serious for me. Not that I'm knocking anybody else for doing it. I just don't have to do it. But what I do wear is I wear eyeshadow every day. So I'm every day, whether it's just a plain basic neutral color, I'm going to put on some kind of eyeshadow base, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to be my paint pot before anything. I may put on another one later, but the paint pot is going to be the main thing. So before I even do this step, let me explain. If you're wearing concealer, this is a step that you need to do all the way around your eyebrows. You need to do it under the bottom, and you need to go back and you need to do the top. I'm not going to do that because when I arch my eyebrows, I normally go and do the top. I don't shave it all the way down to my eyebrows, but I do clean that area up. So for me, I feel like once I do the paint pot, it's enough. But if you are using concealer and you do want it to be a concealer that's closer to your complexion, because you don't want to have this light spot all the way around your eyebrows. That's not what you want. But if you are using concealer, you need to do it all the way around. But for the purpose of my eyebrows, since I don't wear concealer and I arch the top of my eyebrows anyway, I'm just going to use the paint pot. So this is the brush. I had the question about the type of brush to use. This is it. You want something that's kind of soft, but you want it to be able to bounce back, like stiff a little bit. And this is out of my Sonia Kashuk collection. This is the paint pot. It's Groundwork by MAC. And what I do is I go through, I start at the peak of the arch, and I work my way down. It's kind of like you're underlining it. Looks like I need a little bit more. See that? And now I'm just going to blend it out down into my eye. And that doesn't matter because later I'm going to put paint pot all over my eye for the sake of doing my eye makeup. But if you're using concealer, this would be the same thing that you would do. But instead of concealer, I'm using my paint pot. And I just blend it down into my eye. If you could see that. Okay, the difference between this one and this one stands out more, which is the whole purpose of the whole concealer thing, is to give your eyebrows that extra pop and that freshly arched sort of look. So that's the difference. I'm going to go ahead and do it to this eye, and then we'll be finished. I start at the peak, wherever the arch is. I work my way down and around. And like I said, different people use different brushes, but for the most part, any type of brush that you see anybody use when they're doing this is going to be a concealer brush or some kind of brush that's stiff. It just makes it easier. Okay, now I'm going to blend that out. And with the paint pot, you have to do a little more blending because it's so light, but I don't mind. And that's it. That's the eyebrows. I wanted to go ahead and do that for Takina. There you go, sweetie. There's a good look at it. Let me comb this out because you can kind of see where the hair and the actual part of my brow are different. And that's it. So there you go. This is the video for the blog that I did. And I'll see you guys later on today when I post a video of my look of the day. Alright, have a blessed one.